All right. Woo! We made it happen. Thank you for making time. Appreciate it. It's an honor to have you over here. How you doing today?
Pretty good. Yourself?
I'm doing very good over here. Excellent in Helsinki.
Helsinki? Right. Whoa.
Helsinki, whoa. Finland, overseas. Yes, indeed.
All right.
All right. Cool. So let's kick it off. First of all, I want to say thank you, Doug. Thank you for, there's not too many first generation B-boys who's making moves and doing things for the scene, and you're one of them. So first of all, my respect and big up for your contribution and making moves in 2021.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. We're on a mission from God. That's my line.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to talk about some interesting projects that you've been working on, but first of all, let's take it back. Let's take it back to the early days of your dancing. What inspired you, and how did you get into dancing in the first place?
I was dancing my whole life. I was a little kid. I used to dance. Old ladies would give me quarters doing the James Brown. You know, like I was about 5 years old. They would give me quarters to James Brown. My brothers could play guitar and the drums. They gave me a bass. I couldn't play the bass to save my life. No, I have no musical talent with that, but I could dance. So I said, they do that stuff. I just do my dance. But I had a girlfriend up in the Bronx. I went to high school in the Bronx. My friend Teeny Rock moved from Davidson Avenue in the Bronx down to Harlem. So I would dance all around Harlem. And so he would say, let's go up to the Bronx, hang out where he used to live at. So I go up there, I meet this girl, and became my girlfriend. And I would go to her house, and that's where Kool Herc and Copeland would go hang out at. Come through there. So I met them at her house. And so they were like, hey, we're having a party, so I should come on down. And so they lived on Burnside and University. Go straight down Burnside Avenue to Jerome. That's where the heat below is on the uptown side. Twilight Zone is on the downtown side, right off of Jerome and Burnside Avenue. So the first clubs that they had was at the Twilight Zone and the heat below. But they started at 1520 Central in the building recreation. So going to parties there, then they go out to the park, and that was like crazy. So block parties there were just out of this world crazy, just crazy. So all the best dancers would go to Herc's party because, number one, Herc had this ridiculously crazy big sound system. So all the other DJs that were, there was good DJs all around the Bronx and Harlem too. Herc had that system. Back then, the days they used all those tiny speakers. Herc had like current speakers because his father was in Jamaican band. He would use his father's equipment initially. Then he started getting his own equipment. And matter of fact, Herc's mother died last night. So I say God bless her soul. She died last night. So make sure I say that. But Herc would have these parties, and like all the hustlers from Harlem would come up there because the music, all the girls would come because guys with money were there, so we have all the cars. Now we 15 years old. The guys got Lincoln Town cars and Cadillacs parked out in front. So where the money is, the cars were at, that's where the girls was at. And all the best dancers would come dance Herc. Even someone like, say, Smokey, DJ Smokey, in the Smokertrons. Some of he had his own dancers there. Their dancers would come to Herc's party, like Juste Debout. Bobo was from Smokertrons. He was actually one of them first. Came over to become a Hercules, So everybody came to Herc's party. So that's what the single place to be all over, uptown New York, between Harlem and the Bronx. That was the place to be at Herc's party.
Yes, sir. Were you already dancing at the time when you started going to Herc's parties? Or
yeah. I
had my own before you started working the Herc's parties as well.
Yeah. So like a lot of people say, B-boy dancing or break dancing. Herc, I interviewed Herc with the documentary, Herc said something really, really fly. He said, I go to the yolk out of the egg. I don't use the whole egg. I only use the yolk. And because back then days, you put the entire record at the very end, when the break part comes, then you do your whole, whatever you want to do. Break part. But Herc started cutting that break. So you keep on making something up, something new. And every week you do something new because people came back to see what you're going to do this week. So it's no magic formula. That's all it really is. Them use the merry-go-round, extending that break to make up something new every week. became more and more and more. That's where breakdancing, that basic symbol of that yolk of the egg, cut the yolk of that egg, yolk of that egg. Now all of a sudden, all you're doing is this, as opposed to dance, 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 then a little break. You have to dance, dance, break, and break, and break, and break, and break, and break. So they say B-boy comes from, B-boy is a breaking boy. So beat boy, Bronx boy, B-boy is a breaking boy. That's where it comes from. It's a breaking boy. That's where it came from. History, that's the real history of it, okay?
For sure. Can you describe some of the atmosphere in the parties? Let's take one of the parties, for example. How was a Cool Herc party? You said already about the people that was there, but how was the vibe in a party like that?
The vibe is like, wow, because everybody's uptown style dress. You know, we had like style. So back then they had Playboys, mock necks, Kangos, they had double knit pants. So they didn't have Pumas and stuff out. They didn't have Adidas out yet. Pro Kids, Converse and Pro Kids. That's it. Black Pro Kids, white Pro Kids. That's it. High top, low top. That's it. That's all it was. And all the other reds and greens and blues that came later on. Pumas later on. Adidas later on. So a guy said, I was wearing my Adidas and I was like, if you tell me you break with Adidas on, you're that further back. Because it wasn't around it. It didn't happen. So I'm just breaking down history. So I tell people, we doing the history of breakdancing and B-boy by a chronological timeline. So in 73, if we're going to say the internationally recognized date as a start is August 11, 73, even though I was dancing before 73, Trixie was dancing before 73, Sasa, Bobo, Twins, Clark Kent, everybody was dancing before. Well, the Twins were kind of young. They were still kind of young kids. Cindy would let them come in. But they still were cute kids who could dance. So when we had the big circles, you have the big circle for the main circles. Trixie, Wallace D, Kitty Rock. That was a big battle, real big. Then you had like Sasa and Bobo, Twins, James Bond, Bossy the Underdog, all these funny names and stuff. But they had those smaller pockets. Kimmy, Darlene, Aileen, Gracie, Sister Boo, all the small pockets. Chip the Mad Hatter. And then as time went on, you had like Charlie Rock and guys coming there too. So you had Bam would come there, Flash would go to Herc's parties, all of them would go to Herc's parties first. Anybody that said that, I'm like, no. They'll tell you that. It's not like me saying, they'll tell you that. It's not me just saying that. They'll tell you.
Yes, sir. All right. How about the style of the dance too? Obviously, it's pretty different what's going down today. And you say you guys danced before rocking the parties already. Then, how would you describe the style of 1973 or even earlier than that?
It was a lot more of the dancing too, because there was a thing called burning people, which they still do now. You see the guys when they do their little dance, they jump up there, they crouch their face and walk, whatever. That came from the burning style. So you can see the evolution of the dance when, say, 75, 76, when TBB comes in, and they were rocking crew. Like I'd never heard the expression up rock, top rock. I never even heard that until I started doing the documentary. Because we didn't call it. We just said going off. He's going off. He's going off. Going off. Going off. That's the name of the documentary, going off. That's what we did. He's going off. Going off. And even when you talk with guys like Abby, who started TBB, he was talking about how he would do the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. That would be his. He'd start going to fix and go on the ground and start, yeah, whatever. You had to have your own signature move. Frankenstein, James Bond. James Bond would like do the robot, walk up to you, push back and fall on the ground, slide back on the ground, take off the sneaker, dial in sneaker, like he would get smart. Start talking to a sneaker, then get up and pop you in the head with it, That was just how it was. It was some kind of crazy stuff, but that's what the Herc's party was. It's something wild. I had a sombrero. I come with a sombrero on, and they dance around with sombrero, and then fall down and do my little break and everything. But it was fun dancing. There was a lot more fun to it. It just wasn't straight compete. I break, you break, power move, power move. It was style. You had to be funny too. You had to make something kind of like entertaining. It was entertainment more. I think more so of dancing entertainment, as opposed to just saying my power move is better than your power. My punch is pop, y'all just boom, bang, boom, bang. It was more style. I'm a bang, bang, with my bomb. bang you, bang you. I'm gonna hit you. It comes, make it look good on you, like that. So
it's all about character as well and expressions, more than just moves.
Yes. It was entertainment.
Awesome.
That's what I'd say.
How about some of the memorable battles that you went through at the time? Do you remember something specific?
I talked about it yesterday. We had damn Trixie, being Trixie. That's Trixie. Trixie, I was getting Trixie. Trixie was the man. He was the man there, right? He grew up with Hercules, so he was the man. But he was the man. So I'm gonna be me and Trixie going at it. I'll be going. So he comes back one week and pulls out a damn dildo. Starts jerking off the dildo, falls down on the ground, starts jerking off the dildo. The crowd went crazy. I was like, oh, you bastard. It was fly. It was so fly, though, So then he and Rob came back. We went and learned how to do the Lindy Hop in the Charleston. We put it together, did it on Give It Up, Turn It Loose. And we did this whole old 30s dance, flip me around, throw me all around, get up on his shoulders and stuff like that. We pull him up in that. That was hot. Matter of fact, I'm trying to find a way to bring that one back because that was such a fly move. That was like the memorable. That was probably one of the biggest battles. Me and Trixie was like it. That was it. Me and Trixie all the time. I had Teeny Rock, he had Wallace D. The four of us were like the first big battles we had. Sasa came, James Bond, Bobo. Bobo was incredible dancer. Sasa was incredible dancer. Chip the man. Chip was hustle. He called him Hustle King. Chip would hustle. Him and Janet would hustle. Janet could break, and she could do that. Sister Boo, Aileen, Dancing Doll, Gracie. She passed away. Sister Boo passed away. Gracie passed away. But Timmy Tim, Eldorado Mike, these guys, incredible dancers. They could dance and they could break. So there was really, and you had your own sort of. So I would do Charlie Chaplin. The twins started doing that too. So, it was fun. It was fun. You had to entertain the crowd. It wasn't just like you see the kids now. They do some just remarkable breakdance move now, and it's a lot of acrobatics and gymnastics, which is I love to see it. I'm spellbound by watching it. But I wish they would do some more dancing first. And then incorporate that. So it's not just the power move. Because the power moves are fly. But if there was the dance part of it, it would look like I saw a kid in Atlanta. He said he's with HBO. He hurt his arm. He said, my arm. I'm sorry, he hurt his leg. He said, yeah, my leg is hurt, so I can't really do some other stuff. But he was dancing, it was a song was on. Bing, bing. He did a handstand and threw his body up. Bing. And I said, that's the way it's supposed to be. You come to that beat and you catch that beat and that looked like, wow. And I said, that's what we need. But the 6-step, we did the 2-step. At first, like this, right? Did that first. They started with that. Then it came to the 6-step. 6-step, you go off beat, come back to beat, and then go to a break. So if you go to your break so fast, it looks like you're going off the beat. So all the people going like, they're not dancing on beat. What they doing? They just jumping around, So I said, if you catch that beat though, then you see the dancing part of it, and you got to come back to the dance. I'm a dancer, so I'm like I want to see that dance thing, But I love to see the moves. The moves are just. I wish if I was dancing now, I would be like probably flipping off the doggone walls, off the ceiling or something, hang onto the fan and swing on the fan around, then come fly off the fan and do something. I just love to see the movement. It's remarkable.
Yeah, but you guys were inspired by other dancers too. You guys were inspired by James Brown. You said Lindy Hop, Charleston. Whereas people of the day, they got generation after generation of Beatles before. Yeah. What are other things that inspired you besides the ones that I mentioned?
Well, to be perfectly honest, we were like doing something new. So it wasn't like we had something to pattern ourselves out. It was just us dancing against each other and trying to outdo each other every week, trying to make up something new because it was sort of like a new thing now. So it really wasn't it was nothing to say, I like how that works. Like I got an argument with one guy, he says, well, you don't do what you guys do. So we're different from you. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. Did you wake up one morning, 15 years old, walk across your living room, put on It's Just Begun and start spitting on your head. No, saw some spinning from running in a circle. I do like a curl, like we used to just run in circles like this, spin around. Run in circles to spin in a circle, to spin on your back, spin on your head. It's evolution. You didn't just wake up one morning and start doing this. You saw somebody and saw somebody who used this cool herc music. Because it's the music, because there's no real original dance. You can look at videos of people from 1920s and 1930s doing leg swipes and flares and all this. It's nothing original. It's how do we do it to this kind of music? What makes us different in this generation? That's all it is. So don't go, I'm the one who created it. Yeah, easy up on that. You really create that. You're doing it. You ain't really create it. So I was like, you can say that, but I'm like, okay, all right. People spun their head before. He did that, but doing it to this kind of music and this kind of way makes it unique. And that's why I said, this is our time. It's a B-boy line, chronological line. It starts in 73. We're in 2021 now. It's evolved. It's gotten better and better and better and better. So where are you on that timeline? What did you bring to the dance to make the dance better? That's the question. How do you make the dance better? What did you bring to the dance to say something unique and say, I do this to make this look like that and bump it up. Now, it's bumps. You could see from 73 to 75, first bump, when you add the rocking to it bumps up. You hit a gymnastic. First time you hit somebody do gymnastics, 76, it bumps up again. And then you see it just bump, and it's bumping high. Well, I'm doing elbows, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do what? Bumps, it bumps, it bumps. So now the dance goes like this. Line still goes like that, chronologically. Dance evolution goes like that. I'm philosophical now.
Deep. I see. All right, let's dive into the documentary too. You've been filming the first generation, going off documentary for a little while now. Tell the people about the whole process. What is the storyline behind it, and how the whole thing is going to come together?
Well, it started with them asking Curtis Blow to do a documentary about just the first generation guys, because a lot of people ask about who actually were the first ones. So Kurt was talking to this different platform to do it, but he got sick. He asked me to do it. So I started back in, I think it was 2017, 2018, interviewing all the old guys. And it took us 2 years to find Wallace. So we found Wallace, he died. But we got him on tape. Thank God. Got him on tape. Thank God, because that was my guy. But I started thinking to myself, I said, if I was just to put just us, there'll still be debates about people think, well, I heard Rocksteady started breakdancing. I heard the Zulu Nation started breakdancing. And I'm going like, I can show you where Rocksteady came from TBB. I can show you with Zulu Nation, where even TBB got permission from Zulu. I can show you from interviews, but from Batch, Nabby, them going to Zulu Masters and them say, well, Beaver was the first real Beaver. I can show you Beaver was Baby Shaka, who was one of the Zulu Kings, the Zulu Masters, Swerpy, who was named Shaka. It's got Shaka, Ahmed, Kusa, those guys. 5 Zulu Masters and 10 Zulu Kings. I can show you Beaver was a baby Zulu. He was Baby Shaka. So he was getting his influence from someone else. And then he go to her. So I can show that timeline. So I think it's good to show that timeline and watch it evolve, because if you go to the Olympics, they're going to say, well, what's this dance? Because we know what it is, but your parents are saying, why is my kid spinning around and bumps to the damn wall? Why is my kid coming in with his neck twisted because he was whatever, what's wrong with my kids? It's all over the world now. This is what makes us so cool, because our dance unites everybody. So the only battle we got in that cycle. That's where the battle's going. And when it's over, all right, I'll see you next time. I'll get you next time. Or that was fly. Yeah, you won that one. Respect for that. There's respect for the dance. And you don't have to speak the same language. We can all do the same kind of dance. That's what makes us, the B-boy thing, so powerful. It's an urban thing. It started in the hood. Okay. That's where it started. It's not controlled by the hood. It's past the hood now. Hit the water. It's all over the world now. It's 30 million. I mean, this boggles my mind. 30 million people in this dance. That's fucking incredible. Excuse my language, but that's incredible. That's incredible. You got to think about that all over the world. Never anyone who says they were back in '73 thought this would still be going on. They're damn lying. They're lying to you to your face. They're lying. It was just having fun. That's it. So the documentary, I said, let me just show the evolution of it, not just to just the old generation, but then from us to Zulu Nation, TVB, to Rocksteady, to Dynamic Rockers, to you got the big crew, you got the Floor Bastards, to the incredible New York City Breakers, Seven Deadly Sins, all the crews. But you can see, boom, 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 the movie hit, Beat Street, breaking hit. Now everybody sees like, what the hell y'all doing this stuff? Oh, I want to do that all over the world all of a sudden. Now hits the water. You're in Helsinki. I'm from Harlem. You know what I'm saying? That's how powerful this is. You know what I'm saying? That's how powerful it is. I'm in Atlanta now, but still, that's what connects us. And so showing that whole evolution now and get it to the point now it's going to the Olympics. Come on. And that's why I say Kirk had a thing, and Coke will rock too. A lot of people don't talk about Coke. Coke was who named all this. That's who named Trixie, that's who named me, that's who named the twins. He named everybody. It was Coke, but because Coke was on that microphone, he walked in and Coke announced you that microphone. Everybody's going, ooh, circle ready. Just now, such and such in the house. Oh, the circle ready, Or Coke would say, oh, yo, go move your car from outside. All the girls go like, you got a car? Because we're 15 and 16 years old, You got a car? Oh, yeah. He was just still blowing guys up, And guys were like, here, Coke. Call my name out, you open the door, I was in the house. Everybody go, oh, oh, who was that? They get all excited. So you was basically like a little rock star, a little baby rock star. So showing that evolution, for me, it's a pleasure because I seen it from the beginning and I was gone for so long. And now I see it now going like, wow, look at this. And now I get all the history of it that's happened while I was gone. And I could put it together and say, as a sort of a neutral person to some degree, because I wasn't around for a lot of this stuff that's involved. But now it's did corroborate their stories to see the evolution and go like, wow, it's beautiful. It's amazing. I mean, we really got something beautiful. This is for real.
I'm getting chills, man. The world is waiting. This needs to come out. And it's been already 4 or 5 years in the making, so it's been a long process.
Because we got COVID stopped us for a year and a half. I just started again last week. I just started again for the first time after a year and a half.
When do you expect to finish the documentary? When do you think it's going to be ready? I'm
gonna stop filming in August. That's my cutoff.
All right.
Whoever's not in by August, you ain't in it.
Now's the time.
August is going to be it. I'm going to LA, July. In LA, I'm going to Pro-Am in June next week in Pro-Am. I got to run through 2 interviews in Florida. I'm going back to LA to do the West Coast guys. And then back to New York. New York I miss. And then I'm going to do whoever I'm missing between July and August. Call me up and make arrangements for the last ones. After that, we got what we got. Going to editing then. Editing is going to be a bitch because we got 3 cameras of 130 something people so far. So that's going to be a disaster doing it, but it's got to be done. So.
Are you going to do it or somebody else?
Nah. I'm gonna be there, but I'm not gonna.
That's gonna be a workload. All right, and once it's ready, once it's done. How do we access it? The world needs to see this.
Oh, yeah. That I'm not sure how we go do because Kurt had spoke to somebody early on about it. So I'm not sure we're going to still go with them. Me personally, I just wanted to get out. I wanted to be right and be comprehensive and correct. Because number one, you can't get everybody. That's the first thing. You can't get everybody. There's too many people. There's too many people who did it. So if I can get somebody out each crew, that's my goal. At least one person, each main crew, and tell me about your crew story. Tell me who you battled, or who was your influence, who was your greatest battle, what songs was that song that made you really go off? What do you want your legacy? How do you feel about things going? So the same questions I ask everybody. What made you become a beat? I asked these kids from Taiwan. They're like, hey, I saw this here, I saw such. I'm like, yo, that's beautiful. Here we are talking like this, saying, hey. So it's our story. This is all of our story. So hopefully it gets picked up on a real platform and gets out to everybody so we can all see it. But everyone needs to see that. So if you're a B-boy, you should know your history. Every B-boy should know the history. Say, this is our history. Our history. So you know, when you see Trixie, or you see Sasa, or you see, Chip or Charlie Rock or whatever. So hey, respect, because you guys laid that foundation for us to come to where we are today. That's important to me. Make sure people see that. That's
amazing. We're going to do everything possible so that the world's going to see. We're going to spread the word as soon as it's ready. So keep us in the loop, and we promote it like crazy once we get there.
All right.
Awesome. Any last shout outs for anybody who's involved with the project?
No, my guys, they know Curtis Blow. That's my guy, Billy Bill. Billy. I used to dance against Curtis Blow before he became a rapper. People that know Curtis Blow's a beat. I used to dance against Curtis before we used to dance against each other in Harlem and at Chuck Center. So all of our first generation guys, and then even the guys I met, I've become really good friends with them. Ness, Abby, I love them. Victor, Glide, Kid Glide. I've become friends with all these guys that over the course of years now, and befriending them. Kim Kamikaze. It's just a beautiful thing that connected with all of them. I got Chino last week, from Incredible Breakers. Him and his brother, Morris. So it's a beautiful thing. So many of them that I've met. I had to call 100 names. They know I got love for all of them. That's for sure. And I got love for you, brother, because that's a beautiful thing we're doing here.
It is a beautiful thing, connecting all different generations and all different nations. So it's priceless.
Yeah, brother. That's what makes us who we are. We are like this. We're one family. One family.
Yes, indeed. All right. I think that's it. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Super inspired. And I can't wait to see it, man. I can't wait to see the documentary. Get it ready already.
Okay, brother.
All right.
All right. Good talking to you.
Let's stay in touch. Good talking to you. Stay safe.
Okay.
Bye. Peace.